like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Not only does it help the channel grow, little comments help also motivate me. If you want to see anything specific or if you like something, let's hear it. So in this video, I'm going to show you what I'm up against as far as smells go. I got a bunch of other stuff. We got some older projects that I'm going to dip into. Some projects customers were asking about. Also have an update on the Cobra, which you're going to see some more frustration and you're going to understand why. There's a couple links down below as well. So if you did not catch last week's video, I will provide the link down below. I think that's about it. Let's get right into it. Thanks for watching. So we got this one up next. This one was originally scheduled for a dyno tune. Customer towed it in and it did not want to start, and there was some other stuff that was wrong with it. So let me pop the hood. Let's go over a couple things here. So as you can see, it's a K-series. This one is actually on Link. We not only support tuning on Link, but we also are dealers. So if you're looking for some Link products, let us know. So this one came in, as I stated, it was on a trailer. I was under the impression it was running and driving. I will say the customer did ask if we do offer the support once you pay for the tune to help out. But then we never got an email back from him. As far as I saw, I looked at my emails. There was never ever a responding email. So right off the bat, there was a couple things that were wrong. One of the things that we noted was, and forgive me again, I am outside. As you can tell, it's bright. I'll do my best to try to remember to turn my camera around and press that button. If you watched last week's video, then you know what I'm talking about. The fuel line was originally hooked up to the evap or purge canister line. The customer was here. He wanted to stick around and see if we can get it running while he was here. So we did walk in and we asked him, hey, is there a reason why you have it hooked up here instead of the actual return line? His response was, unless I'm dumb, I don't think I do. Something like that. So he walked out. He saw that it was hooked up incorrectly. When we took the line off, the amount of pressure that was built up, it was unreal. The other thing too, I know his IACV was leaking, just leaking coolant. From what we could tell, there was no, on the stock throttle body, there's like a provision where the gasket sits. Well, there was none on this throttle body, so the gasket was just kind of smashed out, had nowhere to go. So we simply took it off and threw some Honda Bond on it, let it sit. There's other little stuff too as I'm in this engine bay. These fuel filters, if this is your first time watching or you're new, these tiny fuel filters, I don't care the brand, don't run them. You run something larger, they get clogged, they're just notorious for having issues. I know I have some other stuff too that I'll mention. Oh, the one thing too, when I went to go get in it, he said that, he said something like, you know, the car is going to smell inside because his cats have been using it for a litter box. And the window's like RTV'd sealed, so that's kind of fun being inside this car and smelling that. We have the injectors out right now because when we did get it started, we were having a bad misfire. Let me get inside really quick because it is too bright for me to even see what I'm doing here. So my apologies. It's really bright. I can't even see my screen, what I'm recording. As I was saying, we did get it running. Once it was running, it was misfiring badly. We spoke to the customer. Of course, he heard it because he was in our showroom. He was excited. He said that he did the valve adjustment, the valve lash. He wasn't really confident in it, so that's where we started. It was out of spec. We got that all set up. Still misfiring though, which leads us to now the injectors being out. We have them in the machine. Let's go over there, show you guys really quickly. So we got the injectors in our machine. We're going to test them. We do multiple tests in a sense. We do a leakage test to see if they're actually closing all the way. Flow test, self-explanatory. Sprayability uniformity test. That's going to basically show how good it's spraying. When you get cheaper injectors, that's one big thing that is affected in a sense. So I'm going to get out of the way so we could do this test, and then I will give you guys the results. So the injectors did fail our test. One of them is completely dead, not firing, which explained the misfire. Customer was expecting this, he said, because these are $70 injectors. So at this point, we're not going to reinstall them. We're going to wait to see what injectors he wants to get and buy. I gave him a link recommendation to fuel injector clinic injectors that we sell and recommend. The other thing too, if I have, we should have some videos of the flow test and all that stuff. The tech recorded it, so ultimately I'll try to get that from the tech over onto my phone. I'll try to remember, and then you'll see them in these clips. I also have where the thing was leaking coolant. I'll shoot that in here as well if I have the video still. That one was for the customer. We recorded it so he can see. There may be no voice. I might not be talking in it, of course, because it's for the customer. I may do a voiceover. I may not. Depends how much time I have editing. So let me sit back down here. So that's where we're ultimately at on this one. If you watched last week's video, I will try to send the link down below, post the link down below. If you didn't, you can see another car that was supposedly ready for the dyno. It is not. And now another car we have to diagnose. And, you know, it is what it is. I really can't say much more. Go watch the other video because it's literally like a repeat. We're going to get on to something else here. Let me go find out what we're going to cover, keep the video rolling and whatnot. So let's see what we got here. So, as you can see, standing in front of the Cobra, we got to take it apart a little bit. Got the sniper unit and the injectors out. And we have my cable because I built a tune for the car. So let me give you a little bit of an update on this. We finally got a water neck that actually would accept the funnel. There's really no other way to bleed this car. I talked to the customer. Realistically, what should be done is if this car goes down, let's say for the winter time, the radiator should be modified. So we could basically make a swirl pot. Right now, we don't have the time to fully take the radiator out, make a custom swirl pot. Probably going to need some custom flanges made for the water necks, all that fun stuff. So going back to it, we added coolant. The engine, the setup alone was just low on coolant. That wasn't the only problem, but it wasn't helping. I don't know if the other shop just did not bleed it out. I don't know. I really can't say. Once again, if you've been catching my recent videos, I'm only presenting what's in front of us, and you can be the investigator on, you know, why did the other shop not fully fill it with coolant? It could have a leak too somewhere, but right now we're not seeing any leaks. So anyways, we had it running and starting on my tune. So the air fuels are running a lot better. If you don't remember, and I will shoot the link down below to the one video I did on this car, the air fuels just at idle were running super lean, and ignition timing also was reading about 2 degrees at idle. So that is fixed. The car is running a lot better. It doesn't want to overheat as fast as it was. We let it run for about 20 minutes. It did not overheat, but the car also, the engine has a misfire. So that's where we're at right now. Now, if you're familiar with the sniper units, then you already know what I'm about to say. If you're not, well, these injector clips that Holly installs, a horrible design. Not only are they not serviceable in a sense, you can see how they look completely sealed. They're super fragile. they like to rattle loose and then cause a misfire. And before we even took the injectors out and the clips, you can see that clip right there is going to break. So we're hoping this was the issue. The injectors tested good. We're hoping this is the issue, and the only real solution is to zip tie these on. So we're going to zip tie them on. We're going to get it started back up. We're going to see if the misfire is gone and proceed from there. I'm going to show you, though, I talked about this before. Let me show you the previous tune that was on this setup, and let me go over some key points on why it's not appropriate. Okay, so I have the program open. I have his original tune that he sent me, and I want to go over this now. I'm going to go over some basic stuff. There's other stuff, too, that is messed around with in the tune that I will say you should never, ever, ever mess around with. Why it was messed with, I don't know, and neither does the customer. When I was speaking to the customer just about the previous experience at other shops, his response was the guy that tuned it is supposedly, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess you could say well-known tuner, and he informed me when he was asking him questions, he basically, the tuner himself acted like, how do I put it? How do I put it without swearing in a sense? He acted like he was just, don't question me in a sense. You're an idiot for questioning my knowledge. And that's the whole thing. Like, I don't care what you're doing in a sense. Once you act like that, you need to get out of the industry. You need to get out of the car stuff as a whole. Your job is not only to tune, but it's also to educate and inform your customer. That's my mindset. For anybody to act like they're better than somebody just because, for whatever reason, it's not okay. It's not right. I'm a strong and a firm believer on that. What we do, and every industry has their own person. Let's talk about a chef. Do they know how to do certain stuff with experience? Sure. Can somebody else learn that over time? Yes, of course, absolutely. It comes same with welding, same with engine builds, and when you start acting like you know everything and you question it, I don't know, man. It's really hard for me to describe and not swear. Let me flip this around. And as I'm talking, hopefully you guys get what I'm saying. It's just, it upsets me. It truly does. But going back to this. So we're at the spark table here. And you see how the spark is laid out. So, no clue why that 10 is in there. But here's the other thing. If this was a normal standard vehicle, yes, it would be idling possibly around here, or more so in this, it could be idling up here. But what I'm trying to say is this block of squares. A normal car would idle around that block of squares. This is not a normal typical car. It has a cam. It's, I'll say, rowdier than most. So realistically, it's going to probably idle around here, depending on how fine tuned you can get idle to be. Some cars, no matter what, depending on the setup, depending on the cam, it's going to want to fluctuate. So what I'm trying to get at and have you guys think about here is it's going to fluctuate from here to here to here possibly, maybe even down here. So the idle is going to be bouncing around this whole time, which is not ideal. And why, like I said, he has a 10 in the middle here? No clue. Let's open up the fuel injector side of things, the fuel. Okay, so this is the fuel map. Now, if you don't do this day in and day out, this may kind of look normal to you. This little area is going to be where it's idling and whatnot, but let's change this to a 3D version of this. Okay, so if you're not familiar with how a fuel map should possibly look, I don't want to go into the crazy detail, but this area could definitely be a lot cleaner. Let's just say that. Let's just keep things simple. But now you see in the idle area how much fuel is being pulled out. Which right off the bat, as somebody that does this day in and day out, this little area possibly would raise an alarm. Now, once again, if the tuner was open with the customer and informing him and giving him his knowledge of, hey, I did this because of such and such, but he didn't. Now, keep this table in mind, because this is a big part that's coming up. So, and before I show you this next table, I'm going to add here. Most people that don't do this day in and day out, they're under the impression that the car should idle at an air fuel of 14.7. That's where people think that every car should idle. That's not the case. And I spoke on this a couple videos back when I was doing this car. V8s like to be a little bit richer in certain areas. It is how it is what it is. It comes down to a point where you're not chasing a number in a sense at idle. You're making the car happy. So that goes without saying. If the tuner told him, hey, this is what your car wants at idle, this is why I did it, just to be open about it, But once again, the tuner was chest all up and you're questioning me. How dare you? But let me show you, like I said, let me show you something highly important here. Biggest part of it all, I will say. So this is the big shocker, to me at least, and makes absolutely no sense. So this is the target air-fuel ratio. This is what the computer is going to target in closed loop, or I will say, as Holly calls it, their self-learning system. It's how Holly advertises it. I talked about that before. So anyways, as I said, most people think 14.7 is where you want to be at idle. Now, if you're not familiar at all with air fuels, the higher the number you go, the leaner the car is. So you tell me this. At idle, we're roughly going to be around here, give or take. It's commanding 15.9, 16.1. Now, if you go back, and I'll have the link down below to the first video I did on this car, you'll see that it was idling at 15.9, 16 at times, even going higher as the car was trying to stabilize itself. That alone, and I spoke about it before, is going to make the engine possibly run hotter and cause an overheating issue. So, think about this. So think about it as like this as a whole. This guy has 3 radiator fans on the car. Number one, at the 3rd radiator fan, when you're installing it, there needs to be a point in your head where it's like, hey, I'm band-aiding the issue. What is going on here? Now, there could be some other stuff involved with this overheating. I'm not just saying it's on the tune, but the tune's not helping. Now, I will add that I already have my custom tune on it, and I've been dialing it at idle. The car, it's a night and day difference, not only how it feels, how it sounds as well. So, with that being said, there's other stuff in here too that just makes absolutely no sense. I don't know why somebody would do it. I don't know if it comes down to just being lazy. I truly do not know. Give me 1 second here. So I wanted to take a break there. It really angers and frustrates me when, like I said, I don't care what line of work you do, when you just act like you're better than people and you can't give them proper information. So I want to go back to this one really quickly. We had some people asking about it. Now, I will go and say, this kind of goes to what I was talking about. We went to try to fire this thing up. It turns out it's basically not the J-series that we thought it was. And speaking to the customer, there was some confusion on his end, and he apologized. And what it comes down to, though, is we know it wasn't his fault. He knows, it's not our fault. It's communication. It's just understanding one of, each other in a sense. So we have to basically modify the trigger wheels to make this thing want to fire. It is what it is. We'll get it done. But that goes without saying too. I will add, because people watch these videos, and I really do appreciate that, and I love the feedback. It helps me. It motivates me. But I will add, let me turn this around really quickly here. And as I said before, I'm going to hold my camera because I still don't have my tripod. A lot of people will call here. You can email and you get to me, but when or people will walk in. I'm not always available. I work. I'm not consistently just sitting at a computer screen or my phone just doing nothing. I have people that do certain jobs here. So, if you call here and say, hey, well, I want to talk to Bob and such, you may not get me. Now, if you want to set up an appointment and you're really, 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 it's the word again I'm looking for. If you're really serious about a build, we could set you up. Now, I do charge a consultation fee that can go towards your bill, just so we don't have people coming in here getting free help in a sense. Time is money. We have a bunch of stuff going on. I don't mind helping here and there, little small questions and doing this, but you got to remember that, it's like, you order off Amazon. You're not going to get Jeff Bezos on the phone, but we stay on top of communicating with you, updating you. And then if you have questions, we're here to help you. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if you come here for, let's say, a dyno tune, I'm the dyno tuner. You're going to talk to me at the end, unless I can't make it for whatever reason, personal reasons. Then I'm going to have all that info for you, though, printed out for you. And we can discuss over phone, or you can always come back in. And I want to go into this because I have an awesome little thing that I was doing. I want to show you guys. Let me get back to my computer here. Just want to switch gears really quickly. This car was just dropped off on a tow truck. Customer said the timing belt has snapped, so he wants to know if the engine's good. So we're going to do a leak down test on this, see if any of the valves got bent during the timing belt incident. But I did want to say one thing, because he also used our new text messaging system, but he also gave me a little compliment on our YouTube videos, so I do appreciate that. And like I said, every little comment I try to read, and all the feedback I get really helps, so thank you. And despite what some people still ask us, yes, we work on American cars as well. So this Mustang was actually just towed in a few minutes before the Integra. So this one's getting a shakedown and came in with an overheating issue. So we're going to do a full shakedown on this vehicle. Spoke to the customer. If I recall, I could be wrong, but I think he said it was his, I think he said his uncle's, his late uncle. So, but yeah, a lot of stuff going on in the shop. And like I said, we're not just limited to Hondas and Acuras. We do it all. And I wanted just to give that little shout out to that customer that watches my YouTube videos. I do appreciate it. So let's get back to some business. So what initially I was going to say and do was I was going to show you guys an Integra that I was basically trackside tuning while not being there. This is part of e-tuning and remote tuning. We went through about 50 emails or so roughly that day, and we had it all planned out. So he told me when he was going to be at the track. I did have his phone number, but I didn't need it. He didn't need to talk to me over the phone. So we went back and forth in emails. At one point, he was having an idle surge. I spoke to him a little bit in an email saying, hey, you know, I think it's this, nothing regarding the tune, but this is what he can check. And since he was at the track, I said, hey, let's get on the track more so. We'll worry about idle later. He was happy, though. I know that they did get some rain, so that shut him down a little bit too. But that just goes what I was trying to say earlier too about, you know, I'm not going to answer the phones here all the time. If I'm on the dyno, it's going to be hard for me to jump off to talk to you, but I am available. So if you schedule something with me, communicate, you know, I'm here. I'm here for you guys. But now, since this Integra just came in, let's go back. Getting the valve cover off. Let me update you guys. So we got the valve cover pulled off, and we're trying to get this belt out so we can rotate. We're going to rotate the cams and the crank pulley slowly to get it over and top that center per cylinder that we want to do a leak down. Now, before I do the following videos to show you the results, any guesses? You think this engine's going to have good leak down, or do you think a valve hit a piston? Put your guesses in now, and I'll be back. So I did want to get the coverage in the shop, but I had to jet out. I am working remotely, as you can tell from the background. I will add that if you or some buddies need some help tuning, want to drive me out or fly me out, I do remote tuning sessions and such. So on top of that, the vehicle, the leak down numbers were pretty good. Cylinder, I think it was cylinder number 2, had a little bit of leakage, but as we rotated it, leakage got better. I think the car's been sitting, so hoping that the valves have a little crust on them in a sense. There was nothing enough for me to tell the customer that he needed a new engine. So at this point, we're gonna do a timing belt, water pump. I believe we're doing a clutch job too on that, so I will keep you guys updated on that one on the next video. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys next time. Thanks, everyone.